I ended up on this dating app a while back, and it was my first time ever signing up for a dating app. I've always had my reservations because I was like, yo, there's some crazy people out there, and I don't want to run into any crazies. Like, I ain't trying to get kidnapped and like end up in another country, don't know where I'm at because I decided to go on a freaking date with this one psycho. But I was like, what are the odds that that would happen to me, right? So I get to like swiping and looking, and some guys I was like, ugh, corny, whack, nah, until I saw this man. I was like, oh, he is fine. Like, I mean, gorgeous, model, gorgeous, wow. And so we matched. And I decided to shoot my shot and say, hey, you're really attractive. And he hits me with the, you are gorgeous and stunning. So I'm just like, okay, I think I found my husband, right? So we get to talking, and like we exchange numbers. We get off the app and we're talking, and we finally get on the phone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like his voice is so sexy. The conversation was so amazing. I mean, we're on the phone for like 4 hours, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I've known you in the past life. So now he goes and he's like, yo, I would really love to take you out on a date. And he's like, let me pick the place. Let me be a gentleman. I got you, right? I was like, yo, they don't make them like this in New York anymore, right? So I let him pick the place, and he asked me my favorite, cuisines were, and Italian is always my top choice. So he's like, I know the best Italian spot. Yeah, we end up meeting at this spot the next day, right? I mean, it was given Lady in the Tramp, but I wasn't the tramp, but it was so romantic, so sweet. I mean, I get there, I'm looking gorgeous. He's there, tall, handsome. I mean, wow. Like, so I'm a little shy, but he orders a bottle of wine. We start laughing. Food starts coming out. We're talking. I'm like, this is the one, right? He then goes and he's like, yo, I know the perfect gelato spot. I'm like, okay, you just giving me all Euro. Like, I planned this date out in like a matter of hours, honestly. But we get gelato, and we're eating, and he's just looking into my eyes, and he's like, I feel like I know you. And I'm like, funny, I feel like I know you too. And he's like, wait, you do? From where? I was like, I know, I just meant like metaphorically. And he's just like, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, but whatever. So the vibes are so perfect that I go, like, he goes and says to me, he's like, hey, do you want to come back to my place? It's not too far from here. We could just sit on the stoop. I'm like, you're not crazy or anything, right? I was like, wait, you're not a serial killer, like, on the run. And he goes, why would you say that? Why would you say that? I was like, I was just kidding. Oh my, I'm just like, I was really just kidding. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. He's like, oh no. He's like, I'm sorry. He was like, sometimes I can't take a joke when it's an obvious joke. He's like, but he was like, I'm not. He's like, I'm the safest man on the planet. He's like, I couldn't even hurt a fly. He's like, that girl, my record's so clean. Trust me. So it's like, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of information, but I believe you. Cool. So he goes and says to me, he's like, but he's like, you want to come? I was like, you know what? I'm thinking, what are the odds that I end up with FBI's most wanted man? Like, seriously, what are the odds? Just my mother-loving luck. I end up with someone that is a little, So we go back to the script, right? We're sitting on a stoop, and I mean, so romantic, so sweet. And I'm telling you, it just feels like I'm connecting to this guy, but I just kept having this one eerie feeling. I didn't know what it was. So I'm like, all right, let me just chill and not, because maybe it's my fear of dating apps and feel like I'm gonna run into a psycho, right? At this point, we've been chilling on a stoop, and like the vibes are amazing. He's like, hey, do you want to just come in for a glass of wine? Because he's like, I really don't want this night to end, and I feel like I found the one. Like, I feel like I found like you, and I've been searching for you for such a long time. So I'm just like, oh my God, that is the most romantic thing I've ever heard. So I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, mind you, I still have this weird gut feeling, but I'm like, he's fine. He looks normal. Like, it's a beautiful ass man. So we end up in his crib, and we're talking again. And, things start getting a little odd. Like, just a little odd. Like, first of all, the apartment was beautiful. I mean, perfect. And it was so well kept. The towels in the bathroom, went to the bathroom to go wash my hands. The towels were wrapped up so perfect. It was almost as if I was in a hotel. So he goes and tells me, I'm like, yo, did you design this place? He's like, yeah. And he's like, I was living here for 3 years. It's just always like this. I'm like, do you have a cleaning lady that comes in here and just like fix up the place for you? He's like, no, I just do it myself. So I'm like, okay. I was like, you've been living here for 3 years? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, something just seemed off about that, right? Crazy part about this was for someone to have lived in an apartment for 3 years, there were no photos of him at all. And some people don't have photos of themselves, but like, it just felt like it wasn't like, it was like his clothes weren't there. Like it just felt like, you know, like you go to someone's home and you feel like it's their home, like they live there. It looks lived in. It wasn't given that, right? So at this point, like my alarms in my body are just going off, but I'm like, stop, girl. You're being nervous for no reason, right? So he goes and he tries to go make me a drink, and I'm like looking, and I'm like trying to make sure, you know, he don't put no nothing in it. But I'm like, okay, you're being a psycho. Like, girl, just be on this date. This guy is amazing. You guys hit it off. You guys are clicking, and it just feels right. But it still doesn't. So I go and I'm like, yo, you are just so gorgeous. Like, I just want to take a photo of you. Can I take a photo of you? He's like, no, don't take no photos of me. I'm like, huh? He's like, I don't want photos of me. I was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, it's just, I got a photophobia. I'm like, a photo what? A photophobia. I'm like, but you have a photo of you on your thing. He's like, yeah, but like, I just got a photophobia. I'm like, what? Me not realizing, right? The photos on the app seemed a little altered, because when I saw him, I was like, you know, he's gorgeous, but he does look a little different, but they're altered. Like and he has like a lot of like, you know, mysterious, like posts, like, you know, like hood. And he's just like, you know, he told me, he's like, I just like to be all incognito. You know, I don't like people knowing too much about me. I'm like, okay. So when I guess I was going to take like a bare face photo of him, like a, you know, actual, and a lot of things don't make sense. Cause as I'm telling you the story, I'm just like, but whatever. Right. So I go and I'm like, all right, no photos, but you know me, if you don't, I'm gonna snap a photo. You tell me not to do something, I'm gonna do it, baby. It's a Sag in me. So I pick up my phone, I'm pretending to text, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm texting my friend. He was like, why? I was like, cause I just want them to know, okay? He's like, oh, okay. And I quickly go, snap with him. So I take that photo, and you know, without him realizing, and I send it to my girls group chat, and I'm like, y'all, this is a guy that I'm on a date with, because I never sent them a photo. I just told him he was fine as hell, but I was like, this is a guy I'm on a date with, and he's getting all weird about me taking photos. Can y'all just like do like a little quick background check? And I'm also gonna share my location. And you know, my phone was quiet for a second, and then my friend sends me a message. She's like, you need to leave. You need to get out of there right now. And I'm like,
hey cousins, welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like and comment. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Make sure your notification bell is on so you're notified every single time I post. This video was sent to me by someone, so I have to get your name, but shout out to you. This is not like the Facebook dating story where the red flags were flagging from the jump, but there were some red flags that she clearly missed. First things first, energy never lies. Your intuition never lies. Her feeling like something was off before things started to go left was sign number one. Also, if somebody is taking pictures and they're literally hiding their face and you can't really tell who they are by their pictures, at this point, baby, you don't even know who you're going to get when you meet them in person. Also, ladies, never, ever, ever go to a man's house the first time you meet them. It doesn't matter how good the vibes are. Never go to their home first day, ever. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about this so far? What would you do differently? And it's so crazy. It's so crazy as the story goes on. It literally gets worse and worse. But she has a lot of parts to this, so we're going to get into this while the Facebook dating story continues. As of right now, she has not made any other posts. So let go.
oh, I get that message from her, and the first thing that happens is my heart feels like it's about to stop, because I'm just sitting here like, oh my God. Like, what does she see? What's going on? And I'm also thinking, is she playing a prank on me? So I'm trying to keep calm under pressure. So he's looking at me, send a message, and I'm just like, girl, time to be an actor. So I'm just like, he's like, what happened? I'm like, my friends are so stupid. They're just like, girl, I hope you're not out there being weird and freaky with that guy. And he's just like, oh wow, your friends are dumb. And in the back of my head, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so scared. So I say to him, I'm like, hey, I gotta use the bathroom real quick. This wine is just going through my system like crazy. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, go to the restroom. So I go to the restroom, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I get on the phone with her. I call her and I'm whispering. I'm like, yo, text me really quickly what you saw. And she's just on the phone like, you need to leave right now. She's like, where are you? Send me your address. I'm coming to get you. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, Chelsea, he's on the FBI's most wanted list. I'm like, you're effing with me right now. She's like, yo, he's on the FBI's most wanted list. So I'm just like, so for 2 seconds, I'm like, she has to be messing with me, because how would she randomly find him with that photo? But then I think again, my homegirl has found out that her man was cheating on her from like 10 years ago, okay, by like hacking his email, so she knows things. So at this point, I've already had my heart fall out of my, like, because everything that I felt like I was afraid of was happening. So I'm trying to play it cool, and I'm just like, what do you mean he's on the FBI most wanted list? And she's like, he's on the FBI's most wanted list. She's like, I'm going to send you a screenshot of this right now. But girl, like, he is wanted and he's on the run, and he's been on the run. I don't understand how you've gotten in his web, but he's on. So I'm sitting here like, why would someone that's on the run be on a dating app? So then I'm thinking, oh my God. So he can kidnap me, because it has to be why he's on a run, because he just lures women, right? So I'm thinking all the worst things, and I have yet to ask her, well, what is it he's on the run for? So she goes and sends me a screenshot, right? And there he is on the FBI's most wanted list. And I'm just like, first of all, looking fine as hell. But I'm sitting here like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So he goes and I guess I was in the restroom for so long, right? So he's just like, yo, are you good in there? And I'm like, oh yeah, my stomach is just like messed up. I'm so embarrassed. Oh my God. Cause that's like, I mean, at that point, I don't care. What, like, you on the FBI's most wanted list. So me taking a boo-boo, it don't really matter right now. I'm not that embarrassed. You should be embarrassed that you here with me right now. But hey, whatever. So I stopped caring, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm just like, oh my God, he's really been on the run for months. I mean, months, right? So I decide, I'm like, let me just see what he's wanted for, because I'm more scared that like I'm with a freaking psychopathic killer murderer right now who wants to kidnap me. So I'm like, oh my God, I was so scared, and I'm like nervous because, you know, when you want to find out the truth about something, but you're so afraid of that the truth is going to be what you think it is, right? So I'm just like shaking up, and I'm like, ugh. So I go and read, yo, this guy literally is one of the biggest bank robbing heist men on the planet. Like, I mean, like, he's wanted for stealing so much money. And this is like he's a career criminal. So at this point, I'm like, ow, I got me I saw Money Heist on Netflix, okay? And I was intrigued. So I'm sitting here like, wait, that's what he's wanted for? Oh. And then I'm like, oh. And it made sense to me, because I had asked him, I was like, oh, like when we were on the phone and we were talking, and you know, like we were like asking each other questions. I was like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, I don't really do anything. I'm a nepotism baby. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, he comes from money. So things are easy for him, right? Life is easy for him. So I'm just like, okay, nepo baby. But this whole time, he was stealing money. So I'm like, wait, I gotta check my pockets and my purse. I left my purse out there with him. But you know, that's besides the point. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, literally, like, what am I gonna do? Because my other thing is like, I don't want him to know that I know he's on a run, because Lord knows what he's going to do, right? Like how he's going to react. So I'm just like, okay, be cool. But I'm like on the phone, my best friend whispering, I'm like, I gotta call you, just text me. And she's like, okay. But she's like, I'm on my way, I gotta come get you. She was like, I'm gonna call the cops. I was like, don't do that. Don't call. First of all, because I ain't no snitch. But also, I'm just like, don't do that, because I don't want him to just get triggered and act crazy or something. So she's like, okay, cool. So she told me she's on her way. So I sent her my address, right? My location. Boom. So as I'm getting ready to, this is the crazy part. As I'm getting ready to like, I'm like shaking right now, like to go out, like get out of the bathroom door. I open the bathroom door and it pulls back. And I'm like, what? So I pull it and it pulls right back. And I'm just like, are you on the other side of the door? He's like, yes. His voice like changes. Like, I mean, it turns into like this deep monotone, dark voice. Like, yes. And I'm like, okay. Okay. So I say to him, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you know, don't you? I was like, no, what? He's like, you know. I was like,
I am grateful that she did send her location and pictures of him to her friend group. But one thing she shouldn't have done was call them while she was there with him. She should have just kept texting because, of course, he can hear you. Girl, oh my goodness. The fact that he knows that he's on the run and he's on dating sites just lets you know how much he really does not care. And two, how much he felt like he would never get caught. Because, baby, what are you doing on a dating site if you know you're on the run from the FBI? Come on. It's not like he didn't know he was on there. Background checks are so important. Make sure when you are dating men, especially in today's times, you're getting their full name and you're running a background check because she could have found this out before she even went on a date with him. But this is crazy. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about this situation? What would you do in this situation if you got caught up with somebody that was on the FBI's most wanted list and you're in their home with them? Like, WTF. Cousins, I'm not gonna lie. Finding out he's wanted for a bank heist is better than finding out he's Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm not even gonna lie. That kind of gave me a little bit relief, but still, if you are out here doing bad, baby, you're not too far from being a murderer either. I don't know if you guys heard the story recently about a woman who went on a date with a man, and I don't know how he ended up back at her home. He said he didn't have keys because his roommate left the keys or something like that. His roommate wasn't home. He didn't have keys to his house. He went to her house. She went in her room. She locked the door, and he was in her living room, and he was trying to get her to come out of the room. And then she didn't come out the room. She called 911. And unfortunately, when 911 got there, they found plastic all over her home. Like he was about to dismember her. And stories like that is very crazy. You never bring somebody you don't know to your home, and you don't go to someone's home that you don't know. Like, we cannot do that anymore. Times like that are over. Done. Finito.
I'm panicking now. And he's like, you know, don't you? And I'm like, no, what? And he's like, don't play stupid. I know you know. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. He's like, calm down. And I'm just like, no, just let me go. I don't know nothing. I promise I won't tell. He's like, yo, calm down. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to calm down. Yo, this is like the scariest thing that has ever happened to me, truly. So he goes and so he tells me, you need to calm down and I need to talk and you need to listen. And I just say, you know what? Okay. He was like, do you know? And I was like, yes, I know. He's like, okay, who were you on the phone with? And I was like, my best friend. He was like, he gets pissed off. He's like, talk about, like I could hear him from the other end of the door. And I'm just like, oh, that's it. I'm done for. So he goes, he's like, yo, listen. He's like, I'm a nice guy. I'm a good guy. I did some things. He's like, I'm not going to hurt you, but I need you to give me your phone. So I'm like, my phone? He's like, yeah, I need you to give me your phone. I was like, why? I'm not giving you my phone. I can't give you my phone. He's like, Chelsea, I need you to give me the phone and I need you to calm down. I don't watch a lot of these true crime shows, and I already know the thing you need the most is your phone. Because when you got to get out of there and call somebody, who are you gonna call if you don't got a phone? So I'm just like, no, you can't have my phone. He's like, yo, he's like, this is not me asking. This is me telling you. That's when I realized, oh, so he said I don't got a choice. Oh, this man is using threatening tones and words with me, right? Okay, I'm gonna give him my phone because he's kind of crazy. He's on a wanted list, and I don't want to, I just don't want to tempt a man that's wanted. But he wants to sell money. So I'm thinking, is he that dangerous? But whatever, who cares? I just know he's a thief. So anyway, so at this point, I'm just like, okay, what are you gonna do with my phone? He's like, I'm gonna grab your phone. I'm going to leave. You are to leave when I leave, but 15 minutes after. So now I go and say to him, I'm like, he goes and says to me, he's like, what did your friend say? I was like, she's coming to pick me up. He's like, did she call the cops? I said, no, she did not call the cops. I told her not to. She's coming to pick me up. She just wants me to come out. I just want to get out of here. Okay. I want no problems. He said, he thinks for a second. He's like, quiet for a second. Then he goes and says, actually, new plan. You're going to come with me and I'm going to drop you off somewhere for your friend to come pick you up. And that's when I'm like, oh, hell no. I am not getting in the car with a thief because he's about to steal me. So at this point, I'm really just like, what the heck did I get myself into? I should have never signed up for that dating app because I knew it, and I didn't listen to myself, and I knew it. So I'm just like, do I have a choice? He's like, no, you really don't. So I was ready to go kicking and screaming, right? So boom, now he goes and he says, what's your friend's number? I'm like, why? He's like, because I need to call her and tell her the new plan. So I give him my friend's number. He gets on the phone and he's like, this is what we're doing. I am giving you an address. You're going to meet me there. Do not call the cops. If you call the cops, it's going to go bad. And she's just like, from what she told me, she was like, how, don't touch her. You better not touch her hair on her. Or else I'm going to get all my people on you. But whatever. We end up getting in the car. And at this point, I'm realizing this is so not safe. Like, first of all, this can't be happening to me at all, but it's happening. So we're driving. I'm freaking out. He has a gun. And he's like, I'm not going to use this on you, but I got to protect myself. I'm like, you? I'm the one that needs protection. I'm here in the car with 5-finger discount and you talking about you need to protect yourself, but whatever. Anyway, so I go in the car and I'm just like, it feels like we're driving for like a really long time. But I guess that's what happens when you're practically getting kidnapped. But anyway, I get to asking him, I'm like, yo, why do you do what you do? And he's like, he goes and says, he's like, well, I lived a very hard life, like a very, very tough life. And I'm like, so did I. But you don't see me going to banks and stealing. Okay. So he goes, he's like, look, he was like, I don't need you judging me. I lived a very rough life. I did what I did. I made some mistakes and now I'm trying to change my life around. I'm like, how are you trying to change your life around when you on the run? You're literally on the run. I'm practically on the run with you. I'm an accomplice. But I'm not trying to judge him because, you know, people do stupid things and you just got to learn from them. But I mean, this situation is a little extreme, but hey, whatever, right? So now I'm sitting in this car and, you know, it's been a little time and I'm looking at the time in the car. I'm like, okay, all right. And then as I'm sitting there, it clicks to me. I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, was it even real? Was any of this real? What were you gonna do with me? What were you planning on doing? Were you ever going to tell me this? And he's like, I've only known you for one day. He's like, but he was like, the conversation was real. He was like, the energy, everything was real. He was like, I was really feeling you. And he was like, you just had to find out. And I'm sorry, but like, just for context, I was really actually feeling this guy. Like, really, truly feeling him. Like, it was a rough past year for me. Got out of a really bad relationship. And I kept saying, I need to stop choosing the bad boy types. The one that breaks your hearts or the liars. Because they just, you know, got me. And here I am, doing it again. But it was so crazy because, like, I felt like I knew him in a past life. So, as crazy as it is, don't judge me. But I was thinking, I was like, I mean, I could be the Bonnie to his Clyde. Oh, my God. I mean, because we were in the car though, and I cracked a few jokes, and you know, it kind of we were just having conversation. It was awkward. I was scared. I really was scared. Most of the time, I was definitely just trying to distract him from possibly killing me. But there was a moment where I was just like, yo, like you're actually really cool, and this sucks. So anyway, this is the crazy part. So remember when I specifically told my friend on the phone, and so did he, to not call the cops, right? The girl called the cops. I don't know how, when, what, where, why. But things are calm. And I'm like, okay, I just want to get out this car. I got to use the restroom. I'm going to go home, shower. This nightmare is all going to go away. Nope. All we hear is, we're talking and it's quiet. And all I hear is, wheel, wheel. I'm like, oh, hell no. So when I tell you I was so scared, like really, truly, like I was genuinely so scared because I like to de-escalate situations. She did the one thing I told her not to do. I don't know why. I don't know. Well, I know why now. Because she said she called her dad and her dad was like, you need to call the cops. And I'm like, bro, you don't listen to your father when I'm in the situation, not your daddy. So anyway, he looked over at me. He said, yo, did you call the cops? I was like, how? I was here the whole time. Like, he goes and looks at me. He's like, it looks like he's like reaching for his gun and he starts shaking his head. He's like, it was your friend. It was your friend. It was your motherfucker. And I'm just like, oh my God, the guy who was calm crazy is now crazy. So he starts speeding. I mean, he does not stop. So now I'm on a wild goose chase. He looks at me while he's driving and he's just like shaking his head. He's like, yo, he's like, and I don't want to hurt you, man. I don't want to hurt you. And I'm like, 24 hours ago, you were saying how I could be the one. Now you want to hurt me. He's looking at me like, yo, shaking his head. And I'm just like, it was not me. I don't know why she did. I said, yo, let me just roll out the car. I could roll out the car. He was like, Chelsea, he's like, I don't know what we're going to do. But he was like, and I'm like, we? Ever since when did I become part of this like, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a hostage. We? What's a... Oh, we? So now it gets worse. Like... He's in the car, he's freaking out, and then he has like this death stare. He's just like, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So we're driving, he's speeding. At this point, I've accepted the fact that we are on the run together, okay? I start hearing a helicopter. That's when it all really becomes real to me. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what if they start shooting the car or something? Like, what if they're just like, I can't.
Cousins, do you feel like her friend was wrong to call the cops? Like, even though she told her not to, do you feel like if you were in that situation, would you want your friend to call the cops? If you were the friend, would you call the cops even though your friend said not to, but because you know the situation that they may be in, would you still call them? Like, I would be so conflicted in this moment. And honestly, I don't know what I would do, but I feel like for a bank heist robber, I probably wouldn't. I'm not gonna lie. My friend told me don't call the cops. I probably wouldn't. But if they were like a Jeffrey Dahmer, oh baby, I'm calling. While I'm on the phone with you, I'm gonna be on the phone with 991. Okay? And I know the situation is serious, but it's just funny the way she's telling it. Like she's so animated and I think she really did like this guy, and it was just unfortunate that he literally was a bank robber because they probably would have been a cute couple, honestly. At this point, she's probably going to be on life after lockup or life during lockup, love after lockup. It's because she seemed like she want to ride or die for her man, and this is giving girl. I would be so scared. I would be shitting my pants. Do y'all hear me?
So now, the helicopters are flying, the cop cars are following us, and he's speeding, and he's freaking out. He's like, I knew I should have never went out with you. I knew it. Oh my gosh. This is all because of you. And I'm just like, all because of me? How are you blaming me? You the one that did the crime. Oh, so you don't want to do the time. First of all, who know that they're on a run and signs up for a dating app looking for love? You a criminal looking for love? On a run? Make it make sense. But clearly he's only smart enough to rob banks, not smart enough to hide. Anyway, I digress. So the car is speeding, and now he's like, I'm starting to realize like he's outrunning the cop cars. And so he's going miles per hour. I mean, it's like almost he prepared for this day just in case, right? He pulls out his gun and he's like, listen, I'm gonna need you to calm down. Whole time I was calm. I mean, inside I was like, but I just sucked up my breath and said, girl, we got this. He's the one that's freaking out. So I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at the gun. I'm like, this man finna shoot me. Listen. Also, I know how to stay calm under pressure, but this is like the first situation I've ever been in that's like crazy like this. So I'm sitting here like, I just want to get out of here in one piece. That's all. So I'm like, I'm calm. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm good. And he's like, okay. He's like, we're going to go somewhere. I'm like, go somewhere. So I'm just here trying to figure out, how does this man plan on escaping this entire fiasco, right? And also, if he does, where are we gonna go? Because I am really not prepared to go on the run with this guy, right? And I really hope that these cops know I'm a hostage. I don't believe it or not, we outrun the cops. Like, I mean, we outran the police. I've never seen anything like this before. I wish I was making this stuff up. I've never seen anything like this before. So he's really on the run. At this point, I realized what once was like a date turned a little bit of disaster, and me just getting away scotch clean turned into a whole entire hostage situation, right? And this whole time, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, how do I keep this man calm? How do I keep him calm? How do I let him know that I'm not like, I didn't make that phone call? And remember, the phone call, right? To the cops. Remember this part. So anyway, we end up driving. He's looking around. And I also had to say, what's the point of police helicopters? Because aren't y'all supposed to identify where we're at? You're up in the sky. You can see us. You're shining the light and then we disappear. How? How does that even happen? I promise y'all. I was scared when I heard the chopper, because I was like, oh my God, what if they start shooting at the car? But I also was thinking, wait, but they're going to be able to find us and stop this madness, right? No, they lost us. So we're driving, right? And he's still speeding until he realizes that we don't have to anymore, right? So I notice that the car is running out of gas. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness, right? Just my luck. He goes and says, the car is running out of gas. I'm going to go pop the trunk, get more gas, and fill up my car. I'm like, he came prepared. I mean, the guy really came prepared, had a stash and everything. Like, this was his getaway car. And he goes and says to me, he looks at me, he's like, I'm trusting you're not going to do nothing stupid because I don't want to have to do something stupid to you. Say no more. I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I won't do anything stupid. I won't. All I'm going to do is sit here and plan my escape a smart way. So I'm sitting here, I'm just like thinking about my friend, like, why would she do that? So I can't make any phone calls because the guy had my phone and he threw it out the window, especially when he heard the cop cars. And at this point, I'm just like, great, my friend had to go and call the cops. I'm sitting there and I'm quiet and I'm thinking, why would she do that though? This is my best friend, by the way. So I'm thinking, why would she do that, right? And it occurs to me, there's a reward. So now I'm like, I just know she didn't put my safety at risk for money. Because I wouldn't do that to her. Like, I genuinely wouldn't do that to her. So I'm like, she wouldn't do that. But then I think she called her dad. And her daddy, straight up con. So I'm just like, oh, her dad told her to cash out. Or he was planning on cashing out and just acted like he cared. Like he was really concerned for my safety. Let me say, I don't think I understand. I know her, but I know him. And the story she's told me, the way he just be moving is like money first, money first. So I just know that this man was like, yeah, we got to make sure Chelsea's okay. Back in his head, he's like, yo, this reward is about to be crazy. So I'm sitting down and I'm getting really mad. I'm in this car and I'm getting pissed off because I'm just like, yo, why would anyone do that to me? So he gets in the car now and he's looking at me. He's like, why you look mad? I'm like, what you mean why I look mad? I'm on a run and I don't want to be on a run. And he's like, yo, calm down. I'm like, no. I was like, because I just realized, like, I got played. And he's like, you got played? He's like, I'm the one that got played because you told me you wouldn't call the cops. I was like, did I call the cops? And he's like, then he looks at me. He's like, oh, he was like, it's your friend, isn't it? So now I see a little twinkle in his eye, like an angry twinkle. And it hits me. I'm like, ooh, see, I'm not going to throw my friend under the bus because I need to make sure that she didn't do this, set me up. But I just felt like she did it. But I see this look in his eye like, I'm going to hurt her. And I'm just like, I look at him, I was like, she wouldn't do for money if that's what you're thinking. She was really just concerned for my safety. Here I am, still being loyal and still being thoughtful because I don't want nothing to happen to my friend, right? But at this point, too, I'm sure he ain't finna risk going back to go find her, to hurt her because he's really trying to go on the run. So, he starts like, bucking himself up and he's like, all right, we got to go. And I'm just like, so where we going? And he's like, you ask a lot of questions. I'm like, my life here is at stake. So I think I should ask you questions. And he looks at me, he's like, and he turns his head back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yo, he's about to get rid of me. So we driving. And at this point, it's really quiet in the car. I'm just keeping myself calm because I'm just like, this cannot be happening to me right now. Wow. I was just having Italian pasta and now I'm on the run. So it's late, super late. He looks wired and he goes and says, new plan. And I'm like, what's the new plan? He's like, I got a homie. We're going to stop by his crib and I'm going to think about where we're going to go after. I'm like, I don't know his homie. And you cannot start adding other people into the equation because at this point, his friend could be crazy. And if his friend knows what he does and he trusts this person, his friend could just be like, you got to get rid of her. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my gosh, I've seen enough movies, y'all. So I'm like, you can't just drop me off somewhere. And he's like, he looks at me, he's like, yo, stop.
It seems like her friend calling the cops put her in more danger than she already was. And if he was willing to drop her off and meet her friend at another location, they should have just did that plan instead of her calling the cops because now she is in dire need of being away from this man. And this is scary. And honestly, when I was listening to this the first time, I'm like, is this real? Is she going to say this is a dream? But then somebody, while I was doing my research, they said, which I'm trying to find that video, that they did see the chase and they heard her voice in the car. They heard her voice. So this probably could be real, but I'm trying to do the research so I can find that information because, baby, this sounds like a dream. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. What would you do if you were in this situation? If your friend was in this situation, what would you do? And why on earth is this man on a dating site when he knows he's on the run from the FBI? It's like, you better lay low. You didn't. Nobody listened to Whitney when she said that. Like, baby, you should not be out here dating. You're supposed to be on the low. This is not good for your image because now you are out in the open. She knows where you live, one. And then to go back to his friend's house, absolutely the F not. Because you don't know, like, same thing she said, you don't know the type of mindset the friend has. And they're going to feel like she's the weakest link. And they might try to get rid of her. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about this? Bye.
And that's when I was like, okay. He's getting scary about a moment. So this whole time we're driving, and I'm really in disbelief that we beat the freaking cops. Like, we've managed to escape the cops. I was hoping to be rescued, but clearly they had other plans and he had a better one. So we're driving. And at this point, I'm really like super tired and I'm trying to stay up. I'm trying my hardest to stay up, but I feel my eyes like closing and then opening back up again and then closing. And at this point I knocked out, right? I was trying to fight my sleep the whole time. I was trying to stay up so I could pay attention to where we're at, where we're going. And my eyes had other plans, right? So I knocked out. I'm sleeping. But I don't know if you guys have ever felt like, you know, like let's say you're running late to school or to work and then you fall asleep and you oversleep. And while you're sleeping, you remember in your dream, wait, you got to be at work, or you got to be at school. So you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, literally that's what happened to me in the car. So I'm literally knocked out and I just wake up and I'm like, oh my God, because I remembered I'm supposed to stay up. When I open my eyes, I noticed I'm the only one in the car. So at this point, I'm like coming out of this like confusion, the sleep confusion. I'm like, wait, I'm in a car by myself. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay, this is my perfect escape to get out, right? I don't know where I'm at. I don't know how long I've been sleeping for, but all I know is this is my time to get out the car, right? So I quickly take the seatbelt off and I look around. I'm like, okay, I don't see no one. And it's like, give or take probably like 5 in the morning. Because at this point the car is off, right? And I don't have my phone. So I can't really tell what time it is. So I'm just looking, I'm like, okay, it looks like the sun is about to come up soon. And let me just try to get out of here so I can run. So we're parked up by like what seems like this gas station-ish kind of thing. And I automatically remembered he had gas in the car. So he didn't make a pit stop to, you know, pick up gas or anything like that. So I'm just taking it as maybe he just left the car like stranded for me to just go. And he figured while I'm asleep, this is a perfect time for him to escape. So I'm like, it's time for me to escape, right? So while I was knocked out, by the way, I have my legs crossed in like this really like awkward position. And the perfect time for my left leg to fall asleep. So I'm just like, right? And I'm like, all right, we're gonna have to wake up because we gotta go. So I'm just like lifting my leg, trying to shake it off. And I open the door. And I'm like, please don't make too much noise. I open the door. I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm lifting up my leg and I'm looking down, right? I remember I was like looking down, like lifting up my left leg, and I'm just like trying to like, I don't know what I was trying to do, but I was just trying to duck, get out the car. Literally, as I open the door and I'm getting ready to go, he comes out of nowhere. I don't know where this man came from. I promise you, I don't know. I just know he came like a thief in the night. Oh, well, he is a thief in the night. This man looked at me and said, where you going? And I was like, to shake my leg. And he was like, I told you not to do nothing stupid. So where do you think you're going? And I was like, I was going to shake my leg and I was just looking for you to... Y'all, this man grabbed me by my jacket and went and said, I told you to stop. I told you. We're in this because of you. And I'm sitting here like, no, we're in this because of you. And he's literally looking at me like, yo, stop. Get in the car and sit down. So I'm just like, oh, whoa. You don't got to tell me twice. At this point, I've accepted I'm on the run. I'm being held against my will. I'm on the run. This is a hostage situation. Okay. It's like, you know what? Let me just go with whatever his plan is just so I can get home. Right? Cool. So at this point, I got in the car. I put my seatbelt on. I'm sitting down and I just look up and I'm just like, how did I get into this? Like, how? Because he's fine? Because he's gorgeous? I'm trying my hardest to stay optimistic and I'm thinking about other schemes, right? Like this whole time I'm like, girl, just be cool, calm, and collected and think. Just think. So I sit down and I'm thinking, okay, we're just going to go back on the road and I'm going to try to keep my eyes open so I can pay attention. Y'all, wow. It's like he could read my mind. Literally. This man comes to my side of the passenger seat, right? Opens the door, takes my hands, and he's like, give them to me. And I'm just like, I don't want you touching me. He's like, give me your hands. I'm like, why? He's like, he looks at me, I'm like, all right, here. Because he has this look, right? And it's like, it's a little sexy, I can't lie. It's just a little sexy. It's just dangerous. But it's also like, oh, I shouldn't try you because you're a little crazy. And I know what you did. And I don't want to be the first victim you really hurt. So, or maybe I don't know of others. Who knows? But we ain't gonna find out tonight. We're not gonna find out today. I'ma just listen. So I get them in my hands and he ties it up. And I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. So all jokes aside, I'm actually very scared at this point, right? But in true Chelsea Sagittarius fashion, I can't take anything serious, even the most serious moments. I'm very unserious. It's not my fault. I was born this way. So he goes, he ties my hands, and he has a bandana, he puts it around my eyes, and I just gonna say, ooh, kinky. So he laughs, he chuckles a little, and that's when I'm like, okay, good. Back on his good side. Be smart, be cool. Get him to remember, he likes me. Don't kill me. You like me. I'm adorable, right? Whatever. So I gonna say to him, I'm like, why are you covering my eyes? Like, why? And he's like, because he's like, I'm not stupid. Like, you don't need to know where my friend lives. You don't need to know where we're going. I'm like, I don't need to know where we're going. You took me against my will on a road trip. That is illegal. An illegal road trip. And you don't think I should know where I'm going? But I realized I ask way too many questions, and that's rule number 1. When you're in a whole bad situation, it's, like, you're just not supposed to ask too many questions. But for me, I'm just like, you just gotta at least give me something. We was cool 24 hours ago, literally. And now I'm on a whole joyride to God knows where, possibly the end of me. Tell me. And he's just like, yo, can you just shut up? And I'm just like, wow, okay. Good to know. We're getting to know each other at a very fast rate. And this is how it would have ended up if we were together. But fine, I'll shut up. Me saying this all with my eyes tied up and my hands tied up. So whatever. He gets in the car and he starts driving, right? And it's really hitting me that, like, I'm so scared. Like, I'm really scared for my life. And I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't know who his friend is. And it's just, all of this is just bad. Like, and it's, sorry. So I started thinking about my mom, and I just started thinking about how I want to get back home. And I'm like, I'm worried that she's worried about me, and like my family's worried about me, because I don't even know how big this situation is. He won't turn the radio on. And it's kind of weird for a man who's like on the run. I would think people want to hear what's going on, but he literally just is dead silent. So he goes and says to me, he's like, yo, I'm going to tell you something. I'm like, what? He's like, do not make eye contact with my friend. Don't look at him. Don't look at his girl. Mind your business. Go to where they tell you to go and just shut up. So we pull into what I assume is the place that we're supposed to be at, right? And I could just hear the car like turning off, and that's when my heart is going boom, 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 because I don't know what's about to happen. I can't see nothing. So he finally gets me out the car. He unties my hand, which I thought was kind of crazy, because I was like, okay, now you trust me. And then he takes the bandana off of my face, and he looks at me. He's like, you're okay. You're going to be okay. I was like, I'm getting kidnapped. This feels like he's like, you're not kidnapped. He's like, I am trying to find a way for us to depart without causing any more issues. I'm like, whatever. So we enter what looks like a safe house. I've never, it had no numbers. So I can't even identify like the number of the home or nothing. It's like, it was planned. Like, this is like a planned place, right? In comes this guy who, I must say, is fine as well too. And I'm just like, it's just a bunch of y'all fine ass criminals. Where is this, where all the fine men are at? In the criminal land? In safe houses? Robbing banks? Stealing people? So I try not to make eye contact, but it is hard. But I'm like, girl, remember, you are here against your will. He is not your friend. He's the enemy. So the guy friend, right, who is around, isn't mean, doesn't have like bad energy. He's actually quite pleasant, right? So I'm not as scared. There's like a weird comfort that like a comforting relief that I get around his friend for some reason, because I just feel like he's not gonna hurt me. But he has this girl who I later find out is a side girl, right? And when she sees me, it's like she just has a stinkest attitude. So they tell me I have to go in this room. The room has no television. It has like a window, but you can't open the window because I tried, obviously. There's books and there's a bed, right? So I just go and I sit down. I'm just like, what did I get myself into? So she comes in and she like opens the door. She checks on me. She's like, do you want something to eat? Do you want something to drink? Like, and I'm like, no, I'm okay. Because I'm not drinking nothing from these people nor eating. Next thing you know, I'm knocked out. I don't know where I'm at again. Like, what? So probably not more than, let's say, give or take, 5-10 minutes, right? After she busts open the door and says, what do you want to drink? What do you want to eat? And has this whole entire attitude. I hear commotion between her guy, and Bank Robber Bay, right? And, they're kind of going back and forth. And I'm trying to figure out who's really arguing with who. If it's, the guy and Bank Robber Bay or her. All I hear is her go, is her and him, her guy. All I hear is her scream out, well, we need to get rid of her. She's seen too much. We got to get rid of her. I don't like her in here. This is bringing too much drama. All this, I don't need this. I don't need to be around here. I'm just like, that's when I'm like, I got to go where? So that's when the Brooklyn in me comes out, because I'm ready to scrap. Because first of all, maybe the bank robber scared me, right? But girl, I know you ain't do no crime. I just know you here because you down for the ride and you think these guys are, exciting and whatnot. I will whoop her. So I'm ready. I'm just sitting there and I'm going back and forth, like I'm swinging back and forth, like ain't nobody gonna touch me. Ain't nobody gonna touch me. So as I'm really getting prepared, all I hear is her guy gonna say, "You don't run nothing in here. You don't run nothing. You're not even mine. For real. So know your place and shut up and mind your business before I put you in the room with her." And I'm like, oh, we know who called the shots. Not you, boo. Threatening my life. So then I calm down again, right? And I'm just like, okay, so we don't know what's going on at this point. I don't know what's going on. And I'm just really trying to be nosy. I get up, try to put my ear to the door. I'm just nervous, right? So I go back and I sit down. They're like whispering really, really low. And I sit on this bed and I close my eyes. And yo, you would not believe what this guy's girl did. You wouldn't believe.